just start. Okay. So over here, when you are doing income method, there are some things which you need to take care of, right? So these are the precautions that need to be taken care of while you are estimating the national income using the income method. Okay. First is national income includes only factor payment. Okay, that is payment from the services related to production unit by the owner of factor. Any payment for which no service is rendered is called a transfer and not a productive activity. Gift, donation, charities, etc. are the main examples. But since transfer are not rewarded for the production activity, it should not be included in the national income, right? So over here, remember one thing. For example, gift. In this income method, it's like if you are working, if you are getting money in return, you will include that only. For example, I just got 1000 rupees from my parents. Though I got money, that means I will include that. No, I will not include because that is basically a gift from my parents, or maybe there is a donation, there is a charity, right? So all those things you will not, only the factor payment, like for which you will work. Now over here the question comes is that, ma'am, the old people, they are getting pension. They are not working, but still they are getting the pension. The thing is that they worked earlier, right? That's why they are getting this reward. It's not like, for example, your mother gave you 1000 rupees. This doesn't mean that you did something and you got the 1000 rupees, right? So in national, remember one thing, transfer incomes like are not a reward of production activity. Therefore, you will not include that in national income. Clear? Okay, example, gift, donation, charities, you are not include that in national. When you are calculating it through income method, you are not going to include it. Then capital gains refers to the income from the sale of second-hand goods like old car, old house, machinery and all that. These transactions are not current production activities. So over here, I sold something, right? Over there. So that doesn't mean that I'll get the money and I did something, right? So that will also not include in this national income, right? So any income arising to the owners of such thing is not a factor income, hence not included. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, income arising from the sale of financial assets like shares, bonds, and all that will also not be included. These transactions are not related to production. So over here, for example, you are selling something like the bonds, shares, and all that. You are getting money. That doesn't mean you worked somewhere. You didn't work. You only purchased share and then you are selling it. So here also you will not include that as well. Then over here, imputed value. Now, ma'am, what is this imputed value? Anyone who knows what is imputed value? No? No? You can say no as well.
No.
No? Okay, Vanisha? Vanisha, can you hear me?
Question again because I haven't.
Sorry?
Ma'am, could you repeat your question again?
Yes, imputed. Imputed. What is this word? Imputed. What does it mean? Imputed value services or something? No? No idea? Vanisha, you are not audible. Okay. Let me just explain it to you. Okay. Imputed is, for example, our mothers. Right? Our mother cook for us. Right? Are you giving any salary to your mother? Yes? No?
No.
No. She is working, but still you are not giving her money. Right? Like my mom is also cooking for us, helping us in our homework and everything, but still we are not giving her money. Right? Similarly, we are living in our house. Are we paying rent? Like for example, it's your own house, you are not paying any rent. For example, it's your car. You are driving your own car, but still you are not paying. Your father is driving the car, but still you are not paying him. Right? So that is basically the imputed services. Like service is happening, but you are not paying for those services. So these are basically imputed. Right? So imputed value of services like by the owner. Who is the owner? For example, your mother is the owner of the house and she is cooking. So that's why you are not paying her. Your father is the owner of the car. He is driving it. So you are not paying her. Right? So over here will be included. Clear? So these services will be included. Clear? Imputed value of owner occupied houses, interest on the own production of self-consumption, etc. will be included as these production activities add the flow of goods and services, right? So wherever there is written imputed rent, right? So rent is also included, right? So if it's written imputed rent, just don't think that we will not include it. You have to include it. Okay, so wherever you are getting this word imputed, you have to include it. It should be a service only. Okay. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Vanisha?
Ma'am, so it is only the service that we have to take in consideration.
Yeah, I'll always, if it is service, like imputed rent you got, imputed services you got, so that is in return, if you are not paying a money, but you should pay money. For example, your mother is cooking, you should. If, for example, you have a cook at your home, so you will pay her, right? But in place, my mom is cooking at we don't have any cook, my mom cook itself. So that doesn't mean we are paying to our mom, right? That is basically the imputed services she is giving, right? My father's drives car, like in case if I have a driver, I have to pay him. But now when I have to pay him, that is basically the salary. But if my father is driving, like he is taking me to the office and he is taking me to the school, that is imputed service. I am not paying him, right? So that will also be included. Clear?
Yes,
No?
ma'am.
Oh. Now, after that, windfall gains. For example, over here, like the lotteries, the horse race, you went in, and windfall means sudden. What is windfall? Sudden. So that are not included, right? Because you didn't did any productivity. Now you'll be like, ma'am, over here, I played the game and that's why I just won that. There was a horse race and that's why I won the prize. But this is not any productive activity, right? So that you will not include. Clear? I hope you got it. What not to include, what to include. Right? Apart from the formula,
Yes,
these
ma'am.
are some other things which students get calculated. So what you are going to do, you're going to write precaution, read it once, and after that, whatever you feel like is important for you to learn, just write it. Just write the examples, and whatever you feel like you should note it down, just make your own note after reading this. Clear? It's not compulsory to write it down, but if you feel like you need to write it down, just write it down, but read it and then make your notes. Okay? Clear? Because that will be very
Yes, ma'am.
lengthy. If you will write entire
Yes,
thing,
ma'am.
that will be very lengthy. So whatever you feel like it's important for you, you cannot recall it for a longer period of time. Just write in that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Both of you done?
I'm doing.
Okay, no issues. Okay, Ritika, you are doing or you are done?
Ma'am, I'm done.
Okay, I think Manisha lost networks. Let's just wait for one more minute. Okay. Then today we'll be starting with the next one. And tomorrow also, like I'll take your class. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that in continuous, all the methods will be completed. So let's just wait for one more minute. Till then you can just read it. And I think Manisha will be, she's facing network issues. So let's just
Okay,
wait for one more minute. Then.
ma'am, tomorrow will the class be the same time?
I am planning to take it earlier. Is it okay for you? Because maybe you must be having some plans at like evening time. So morning time or evening time, like around 1 o'clock. Is it okay? 1, 2.
Um,
No?
ma'am, ma'am, could you keep it a bit earlier to that or later? I'll be having a lunch at the time. That's it.
Okay, so is it okay if I keep it at 3, 4, 4, 5,
Yes, ma'am.
4, 5 at IST? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so 4, 5 at IST will be, I think, 2 or 3 at your place, right?
Yes, ma'am. We are on
So is it
2:30.
okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just ask to Vanisha because maybe because tomorrow is an off, so everyone has some plans. So Vanisha, I was just asking, tomorrow I'll take your class. So I was planning to take it early, like not on the regular time. So is it okay for you?
Yes, ma'am.
So earlier, what is the time difference? I think 2.5,
1.5, ma'am.
1.5. So
One
one and
and
a
a
half.
half.
Okay. So 1.5 it is. So let's just keep at 4:30. That means 3 o'clock at your place. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So 4:30 tomorrow,
Okay,
which is
ma'am.
honestly 3 o'clock at your place. I'll just ask you to share the reminder so that in continuous we will have it because day after tomorrow also we'll have the class. So in a continuous way we'll have the class. Okay. Okay. Now coming to our next method, which is the expenditure method. Okay. So what is this method? Over here, it is like whatever final expenditure you did on all the 4 sectors. So basically there are 4 sectors, right? So one is private final consumption expenditure, which is basically sum of final consumption expenditure by the household and the private non-profit institution. Okay. Then government final consumption expenditure, which is GFCE. This is equal to imputed value of services. Over here, the word is coming imputed. Imputed value of services produced and provided by general government people for free. Okay. And gross domestic product. Over here, expenditure incurred on acquiring the goods for investment by production units located with the domestic territory. So remember one thing, domestic territory is very, very important. So gross domestic capital formation, it has 2 components. One is gross fixed capital formation, right? As well as change in stock. Clear? Okay. Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And then net export is basically the difference between export and the import of a good services. Okay. So over here, this is the thing, like how you will calculate GDP, private final consumption expenditure plus this government final, then gross capital formation and then net. So you will all add all this, right? Now when you have to calculate NNP at FC, what you will do from this GDP at MP, first you will calculate GDP at MP. Step 1, you will minus depreciation, minus indirect tax plus subsidies and NFI. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you will first write expenditure method and you will write it has the 4 like till here this method includes this and then it has 4 component this and then this is the formula for this till here and then for step 1 you will calculate this and step 2 this. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Both of you done? No?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, both of you done, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so now let's just start with the things. Okay, this one. Okay, so what you have to find from here, that national income you have to find using the expenditure method. Okay, so what is the formula? You know, PFCE plus GFCE you have to find here, and then NDCF and the net export. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
in this, ma'am, in the question they've given net domestic capital formation.
Where this?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
So should we use that or do we have to convert it to gross domestic capital formation?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Ma'am, do we just directly use net domestic capital formation or do we have to convert it to gross?
What is the formula which you are using? The
Private
one
private
which I gave you. Wait a minute. This one? Gross?
Yes, ma'am.
So then you have to convert.
Okay.
Okay. Once you are done, then I'll tell you there are two methods. Okay. Let me just first clear it. Over here, you can see they have calculated GDP at MP. Right? Over here, they have calculated MP. Right? So what is the first formula over here when we were discussing what we were calculating? GDP at MP we were calculating. Right? But the only thing over here, what they have taken net domestic capital formation 200. Now the question is, ma'am, over here they have just directly calculated the net one. Why not the gross one? The thing is that because it is already net given here, right? So over here, GF and NDPA, this one, right? So that's why, wait. So that's why over here gross is given, but what you can do, over here you can take NDP at FC, but when you will calculate it over here, you will just simply subtract it. Clear? So over here, when, see, net domestic capital formation, because gross is not given over here. Yes, it is not given,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
So what you will go for this. Okay, but in case if gross is given to you, then you have to find it with the other way. right? So how will you convert this net to the gross?
Plus depreciation.
Plus depreciation, right? So is there depreciation is given to you?
No.
No. So what you will do? Plus what? Plus 0?
Yes.
Right? So what will your answer?
The same as net
Same,
domestic
right?
product.
Okay, so this is what you have to think. If it is given, then you have to convert. If it is not given, then take it directly because it will be 0 automatically. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Ma'am, done.
Okay, so what you got? 1365?
Yes, ma'am.
Both of
Yes,
you?
ma'am.
Good. Now, coming to this over here. So over here, indirect, what you have to do, just remember it in a very good way. This part, indirect tax and all that, you know that to calculate NIT, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So you will just quickly do it. Over here, you have gross domestic fixed capital formation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What you have to calculate, check it. Every time, just don't go randomly for national income. Just check the question.
Done, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Both of you done?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So what you got? 8840?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Both of
ma'am.
you? Okay. Now let's just do. Okay. We won't be able to do the next part. Okay. What I will be doing, like I'll be sharing the assignment with you. So over there, I'll give you two questions for expenditure method.